Hi, everybody. I am getting myself all set up here on my Facebook feed. I'm just kidding, I'm being silly. So hang on. YouTube watchers, I will be with you shortly. Hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for joining. We're going to do a bluegill swimbait tonight. So hang tight while I get this all set up here. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a good weekend and your planning is going well for Christmas and you're done with all your shopping. This is making me angry. So anyway, publish. There we go. Live video. Add a description. Paste. And here we go. Okay. So bear with me, guys. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Lure Painting Live. My name is Krista, and I am the painter behind Colorado Custom Lures. I hope you are all having a wonderful holiday week. I guess we're just kicking it off. And I hope that you're not too stressed out, because we don't want to be stressed out, right? Did you get your shopping done, or are you slacking? What's everyone up to? I'm trying to find my video in here so I can follow with you guys, and it's not working. So hang on one second. I swear, every single time I turn around, Facebook changes the format on me, and I can't find anything. So I was gone for a little while. My apologies. I went to visit my parents in Florida with my kiddos, and we had a great time. We went to the beach, and we went to what the hell? Oh, we went to the aquarium. I posted some pictures on my personal page, but I'll have to share some on my business page so you guys can see what we did. We went to the aquarium. We went to the manatee viewing center. We didn't see any manatees. And we went to the beach. We went to the pool. It was great. So we had really, really nice weather the whole time we were there. And it was great to see my parents too. So all is well. Today was interesting. I spent most of the day in the ER with my daughter, who has asthma and has a cold that has gone to her chest. So that was a good time. She's doing fine now, though. So that's good. Got her some medicine, and she is like back to 90%. So I will get the discount code. Actually, the discount code, I'm a little out of my element today, so I apologize for my seeming disorganization. I just got back from vacation, y'all. So I'm working on some blades. I've got a whole bunch of blades coming out, and a bunch of lipless, like for jigging, if you guys are still doing some cold water fishing. So I'm working on some of that stuff and some micro lures. And then I don't know what else I'm going to do next. Maybe some crappies, and we're probably going to do some Red Cross for spring. And I don't know what else. Do y'all have any requests? Something that I haven't done in a while that you want to see me bring back for I'll get you guys the discount code set up in a minute. I'm just gonna get on with the show. So I can't see you guys' comments since my internet's not cooperating, but I'm gonna do like a light minimalistic bluegill pattern tonight. So it's gonna be a real light colored bluegill. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'm just putting some rubber bands on the joint, and the purpose is partially to keep the hardware clear of paint, but more so just to kind of keep it from like bending freely. It'll make it a little stiffer like that while I'm trying to paint this. These are, I think, 1.8 ounce Rattling, and they are slow sinking. This thing is such a pain. It just doesn't want to work. I don't know why. I can't get my video to come up on here. I'm trying to read y'all's comments, but this does not want to cooperate for some reason. So I apologize. I'll get to them as soon as I can. So first things first, we're going to do a little bit of antiquing of the texture on this bait. I prefer painting on a smooth surface if I can get baits that have like a smooth texture. I prefer that over this like pre-etched scale and all this extra stuff. I'd rather just paint it like from a clean slate, but unfortunately most of them don't come that way. And so you kind of have to work with what you have. And so we'll make it look realistic with the texture there. It has a purpose, I suppose. You know, if you don't, that makes it easier if it has all the texture and parts in place. I just like a clean slate to work off of, so, but I can't have it, so it is what it is. I don't understand this. Let me try this a different way. iPhone, Facebook. Oh, weird. Huh. It's trying to stream somehow from my iPhone. I don't understand what's going on here. Something new every week. It looks different every week. Okay, this looks more normal. Now I can maybe find it. So I did have my website inactive while I was doing my, yeah, if the internet is cutting out, there's nothing I can do about that. So except for saying I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I have no idea why sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. Why can't I see these comments? There we go. Now I can see it. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, I'm back. It's stopping and going. Yeah, you can try. It could have to do with your internet connection, or it could have to do with my internet connection. I don't really have any way of knowing whose internet connection is the issue. So, I don't know. It could be mine. This is really upsetting because this isn't cooperating at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with some black now that I got my tail all taped off and I got my rubber band in place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some black on here and we're going to do a little cleaning. I know that sounds funny, but you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So I'm just going to put a few drops of black in here and just a little bit of reducer. This is 40-30 reducer, Createx. And then I'll just stir this up. I just use disposable paint brushes. I could spray this with Stynol Res. I might actually. A lot of it's going to get wiped off in this design because the way I'm doing it with the scales. I don't usually do these swim baits this way, but I do often do my. Let's see if that's going to work or not. I think I put my Stynol Res away. I'm just going to skip it this time because I don't know where I put my Stynol Res. It's usually sitting up here. Stynol Res is a primer I use when I'm painting with water-based paint, but I must have put it away, so we're not going to use it this time. We're just trying out a design anyways. So normally I use Stynol Res to, it helps the paint adhere to the bait a little bit better since we're using a water-based paint on a plastic, and they aren't really intended to go together. Really, like these water-based acrylics are meant more for like fabrics and paper, and so it doesn't adhere particularly well to plastic. So the Stynol Res primer helps with the adhesion a little bit, so that if you do have a clear coat compromise, you don't see it peeling away from the bait like you can sometimes if you don't use a primer like that. That helps with adhesion. So again, I'm just painting it black basically. It doesn't have to be super heavy or anything like that. Just enough to get paint in all the cracks. And then I'm going to clean the black out and we're going to go wiping. So when I do my crawfish baits, which are like the square bill crawfish looking baits, I use this same technique. And it's just wiping off everything but what's in the cracks. And I'm just trying to get the black paint out of my gun before I set it down here so it doesn't dry in there. So just a few flushes and a wipe out should do the trick. And then I'll set it down. Hang on while I pull this up again. And I'm going to put this in here. There are still some things in the store from when I did my live sale. There's still some stuff left over. If you guys wanted to order anything, I will get anything that's ordered by tonight or by ship Monday. So there's a decent chance you could receive it by Christmas if you wanted to order something. How frustrating. I can't see the comments. I don't know why it's just not cooperating with me. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol on it. So this is just isopropyl alcohol that you can get at Walmart or Dollar Tree or anywhere like that. And I try to use 90%. But yeah, I took a couple weeks off, Matt, because I went to Florida to see my parents. And I also did my live sale, and that took up a solid 2 to 3 weeks of my November to do all of that. So all I'm doing is just kind of wiping in one direction, like along the scale edges, and that's just going to put some paint in there. And again, this is a technique that I've been doing for, I don't know, like 2 years. And I started doing it when I came up with the idea on my own, oddly enough, even though apparently it's something that a lot of artists do. I wasn't aware of that at the time, but it's called antiquing. And I thought of it with these crawfish baits that I paint because they had such deep grooves in the design, but it's really hard to freehand fill in all those little grooves. So I was like, why not paint the whole thing black and then wipe, and the black will stick in the cracks, right? So it's the same exact thing with this. So I'm just doing this same exact concept, different bait, you know. All right, so you want to get most of the black off because I'm going to try not to paint over it too much because it'll just, you know, go in the cracks and then it'll take away that contrast. So we'll just see how it goes. I haven't done this particular style swim bait this way before. So again, this is kind of an experiment like most of my shows where I don't always do something that I've done before when I'm on my show. Sometimes it's the first time I've tried something. Often it's the first time I've tried something. So we'll see how it goes. So I do want this to be a lighter colored swim bait. So we'll see if I do need to go over some of it with a white paint. Okay, so I put the discount code up, but I don't. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Joe. I live out in the country and we have satellite internet, and I can't, you know, really do anything about it, unfortunately, because we don't have any other option for internet. There's no other provider, so there's nothing I can do about the internet until Elon Musk decides to make Starlink available to the general public. I'm pretty much stuck with what I got. So my apologies if it's not a pleasant viewing experience for you. But it'll probably vary day to day. It'll be good sometimes, and others it might not be as great. Okay. I was fortunate when we moved out here that I even had as good an internet as I do, because some people out here have like nothing and can't live stream or do any of that stuff. But yeah, I have no other option. Okay, so I'm basically now down to the cracks there. Okay, the other side isn't quite as good. Let's see here. Yeah, unfortunately, my internet is what it is. It's crap sometimes, and other times it's fine. So, all right. I'm going to try and get a little bit more along this edge where the ear flap is because it's kind of building up here. And I don't really want it to be that dark right there. So I'm just kind of using my fingernail to kind of dig around the edges here and get a little bit more of that stuff stuck in there off. But I want to just kind of leave most of it in the cracks. It takes a little bit of time to get this how you want it to be. So bear with me here, guys. There's a few spots that require a little more attention than others. And I'm putting the discount in here because I forgot to do it before the show. So I have to turn it on. That's not the code I want. So give me just 1 second while I edit this. Discount codes. Live 15. There we go. I just need to change the dates on this discount so everybody can use it. Active dates. Today is December 18th, right? And the discount will be good through tomorrow, you guys. So if you want to get 15% off, then yep, there we go. Okay, if you want to get 15% off what's left in the store, you can use that discount code that I posted in the comments. And you can use that through, I will pin it at the bottom so you can see it at all times. You can use that through Sunday night, and whatever you guys order on Sunday or up through Sunday, I will ship Monday. So if you're still looking for a gift and you don't live in like Maine, then you might be able to get it on time. I also have gift cards, you guys, if you're looking for a gift, but you don't know if it'll get here in time. There are gift cards on my website that you can order. 25, 50, and 70, 75, and 100, I think, are the amounts. And then you'll get an email with the gift card code that you can print out. So you can order them and have it in your hand within like a minute or something like that. So if you're looking for a unique gift for somebody who likes to fish. So this is kind of time consuming, especially with my tangents. Okay, good enough. All right. So let's move on to a little bit of color now. So like I said, I'm going to do a lighter bluegill. And so we're going to try and just kind of leave this as is. And then I'll probably go over the belly with some white and do a little cleaning up of the belly color to make it lighter at the end. Sorry, I have a little bit of black pooling at the bottom here that I want to fix before I move on. It's just kind of smeared under here. Yeah, it's been a fun day, let me tell you. All day in the ER. My kids with asthma. It gets expensive and scary at times. But she's doing good now. So, all good, right? I was just praying we didn't end up having to get admitted to the hospital because that happened once. And it was like 4 days. And a lot of money. Don't forget the money part. It's not good. Okay, so thanks, guys. So share the feed if you can also, guys. I know that the connection might not be the best, but I appreciate the shares if you can do that. And some people will watch after too. So I'm going to pull up my reference photo here and show you guys so you can see what I'm kind of going for color-wise. So this is the reference photo that I found online, and that's what I'm going to kind of do. So a little bit of a light bluegill. I picked three photos off the internet, and Chris got to pick which one I did, and that's the one he picked. So a little drinky. So let's start let's start with a little bit of green. I'm going to use a lighter green to start with, and then I'm going to go over it with a moss green, just so I don't overdo it. This is leaf green. It's a transparent Createx color. Just straight Createx, not Wicked or Auto Air, just regular Createx. Leaf green is the color. And I'm just going to put a few drops in here and then a little bit of reducer. You might be able to get away with spraying the transparent colors without reducer, but I personally prefer to put at least just a little bit of reducer in every time I spray, just because I feel like it sprays a little bit better with some reducer in it. And then you can also control how much color you put down at any given time if it's just a little thinner. Now, if you want to go super thin, you want your color to be ultra transparent. Instead of putting like a ton of reducer in there, I recommend using the transparent base to make it more transparent instead of really loading up the reducer, because it can affect its like ability to adhere and stuff like that after a while. So then, you know, when you're trying to make it super transparent, add some of that transparent base, which is the 4004. That's the product number, 4004 for by Createx for the transparent base. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and spray just kind of along the high sides. So I'm just kind of misting it along the high sides here. If you guys can't really see much, just let me know. And then when I pop back in, this is a lot brighter than I wanted it to be. So I'm probably going to quit this color here in a second. Some bluegill are kind of a yellowish. This almost is like a yellowish green when it's applied thinly. And some bluegill kind of have this coloration, but not so much this one. So I'm not digging it. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm just going to switch to moss green thin down. And we're going to go with that from here. It might look good layered though, so it's not necessarily a terrible thing. So this is moss, well, where did I go? Moss green. This is already thin, but I might thin it just a little more. Wicked Detail Moss Green is the color. And it's a must-have for lure painting. Detail Sepia and Detail Moss Green by Wicked Colors are definitely must-have colors for fish. Two of the most ones I use more than anything, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to kind of redo that, starting at the top, going just slightly. Okay, I sprayed too much. It's starting to pool up, so I'm going to hit this with a hair dryer just so it doesn't mess up. Okay, it started kind of running because I think I did this a little too much and it started to run a little bit. Now this fish has kind of like a green color all the way down here to this area on the cheek. So I'm going to kind of just shade it here, freehand, a little bit at a time, and then I'll switch to the other side so we don't overdo it. You can kind of work on one side for a little while you're letting the other side sort of dry a little bit. And then this whole area here, basically all except for this bottom part of the gill plate, the first gill plate, and then this very bottom part of the second gill plate is all going to be green. And you can cover the ear flap if you want, because you're obviously going to paint over that, so it doesn't really matter. There's almost like a bluish color around the eye too, but we'll see what we can use to maybe play with that color here in a minute. So this moss green is like, it's slightly too bright still for me. I may end up shading some of this with sepia. And what sepia will do is it'll just give it a more earthy, green color. You can think of like a dark bass green, you know, where it has that like brownish, blackish green kind of tint to it. So usually what I'll do is just take this dark moss green, and this doesn't really look dark now because I'm painting it, you know, over white, but it can get really dark if you do a lot of layers. I've got it really thin right now because I don't want to overdo it. And I'm trying to keep most of the color on the high sides here so that the midsection stays pretty light colored. I gotta make sure it's still coming out. Okay, now I think I'm pretty happy with that darkness for now. I'm just going to get a little thicker around the eyes here. And then I'm going to get rid of this green for now. And I'm going to move on to I'm studying my fish. So if you guys are commenting, I'll get to your comments here in a second. I'm kind of studying this picture to see how I want to do this. We're just cleaning the green out here, and then I'm going to switch it up to a little bit of, I'm thinking, hang on a second. Let's do some brown first, and then let's do stripes first. I'm kind of like between stripes and shading first. So let's do the stripes first. I'm going to take my bait off of here for the stripes. Let me pop back to my feed so I can tell if you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to bend this down just a little bit. Okay, so you got a better view of what I'm painting. Okay. Is there a gallery to look at, to see Northwest salmon lures? No, not really. The best way to see all the lures I've done is just to go through my photos on my Facebook page. I haven't done a ton of different Northwest salmon lures, so I'm not sure. You can always send me reference photos, and I can just work with a photo if there's something in particular you want me to mimic or whatever. Oh, you got so much rain, huh, Anthony? I use Createx Reducer. You can use 4013 or 4011 or whatever you want. That Hinkle may try to imitate a grass cart. I think I must have missed. The Hinkle shed color is pretty light gray and orange fins. Yeah, Hinkle's too expensive. I got you there. I probably can't see some of you guys' earlier comments because I've been flipping back and forth between my feed and my picture. So if I didn't respond, ask me the same question again. I will get back to you. All right, because I've got this picture kind of in my brain now. So okay, I might even turn this into a bleeding bluegill, but we'll see. I haven't decided for sure yet. All right, so I'm going to take my stripe pattern. This is my stripe pattern. I cut this with my Silhouette Cameo, which is like a Cricut vinyl cutter. And I drew the picture myself with Apple Pencil. I use a program called Autodesk Sketchbook, and it is free, and it's free on Apple Store, and it's made by Adobe, and you can use layers, but you have to have Apple Pencil and iPad. So it's possible it works with other brands too, but I just don't know. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take black, and I'm going to put some texture spots on the top. And then I'm going to do the lines after that. And I'm also going to texture those a little bit to try and make it look a little bit more realistic. So we'll see how this goes. It might not be great. We'll see. So reducing black down there. And I'm just rinsing off my stir stick. so I don't dip it in white paint and end up with gray paint. So I'm going to take my, this is just a cross stitch loom that I suspended some loofah material in from a shower loofah. It has a ton of layers of paint on it, so that just gives you a more defined look. Sometimes when they're really dirty, they actually work better, if that makes any sense to you. And I'm just going to do a few little areas of some texture. Okay, sorry. Hi, Dad. My dad is here. Yeah, if you like, for my, everybody asks to see my work. I posted like a ton of stuff on Facebook. So if you go to the photos section of my Facebook or to my Instagram, which doesn't have as much because my Instagram wasn't that active until this past year. I just didn't spend a lot of time on it. You'll see a lot of pictures of my work over the years. You'll be able to see how much better it is than it used to be. Okay, now I'm going to set this over top of the stencil, and I'm just going to press down. So I'm holding my bait down. Sorry, on YouTube you can't see this, so I'm gonna point my camera down so you can see better. Okay, there you go. So I'm just holding. I put a stencil down with some stripes, and then I'm gonna put this on top of it and press down, and then I'm just gonna hold it here. Okay, and I'm gonna take black paint, and I'm just gonna put a little bit. I'm just gonna color in a few small areas in the middle of the stripes, kind of freehand with some black, just to give it, you know how they have kind of those random areas of dark in the middle of the stripes? That's what I'm going for. And it's only like a few scales here and there. So that's the look I'm going for. And this stencil, the stripe stencil, has been used a few times. So I can see it underneath this mesh. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm going to look this up and see what it looks like. So now you can see that you have those little areas of dark spots just to make it look a little more realistic. I could have probably gone a little darker on those. So we'll do the same thing on this side. So I'm just going to place that stencil, press my mesh down. You could use like a spot textured stencil like this too if you wanted to. I think you'll achieve this similar effect either way. This black is really thin. Probably a little thinner than it should be. So again, just adding like some really super fine details. Bear with me. Do the boring part. It gets better. When I get closer to the end, and you can see what it looks like, it gets better. So I'm just kind of like doing a couple of like scales at a time, just to give it a more natural appearance. Okay, let me see what this looks like. Okay, so that has the same kind of look. Maybe I could do a few more. Just a few more. It doesn't have to be perfect when you put it back down. I'm just trying to get most of these like rando dots inside of the stripes, if that makes sense. So again, if you guys do want to order something before Christmas, I do still have some stuff in stock. That'll be there through whenever it sells, and I will ship anything that gets ordered tonight on Monday. So you might be able to get it by Christmas if you don't live too terribly far away from me. I'm going to do a little more on this side because I don't think it's enough. And then gift cards. I also mentioned that at the beginning of the show. I have gift cards available in my store. I think if you go to the gear, I think they're in almost every section. There's a section for gift cards in almost every category. So if you want a last minute gift, there are some gift cards. And you can print those at home, so you don't have to wait for it to be sent or anything like that. Did y'all get your Christmas shopping done? Are you guys doing the Christmas shopping, or is somebody else doing it for you? You got to shop for at least one or two people, right? No matter who you are. Okay, so now I'm going to do the rest of these stripes. Oh, I don't really have much new stock going right now, Anthony. Unfortunately, I took vacation and then I was busy with the sales, so there's not going to be a ton, but I'm working on a bunch of blades that look pretty good right now and a bunch of smaller jigging lipless crankbaits that might be good for cold water. So that will be the next thing to come to the store, probably sometime this week, maybe. Okay, now I'm going to do these stripes, and I'm also going to put this on top. Sorry, I didn't realize that was there. So I'm going to try and put these kind of where I had. I'm going to do my best to try and line this up. Let's just say that, okay? I'm going to do my best, and we'll see what happens. It's not like a super critical thing that they're exactly lined up. Now, when I do this, I'm going to try not to do the whole thing. I'm not going to do the lines all the way down on both sides. I'm going to kind of try and make a little gaps here and there so that it's not like one straight line all the way down. It looks a little bit more natural that way, I think. And I can kind of see the stencil under here because I can see the colors coming through. I can see the colors coming through. So it's not too hard to follow these lines. This paint is a little bit too thin. That's the one thing I'm kind of not digging right now. It's kind of hard to see, like when you have a stencil like this and it's kind of hard to tell how much you're spraying when you've got a stencil and all that crap. It's just hard to see it. I can tell my kids are not behaving inside right now too. A little stressful. I can hear them being psychos. Chris is probably losing his damn mind right now. My poor baby girl. She has asthma, and I had to take her to the ER today because she was real lethargic and her oxygen was getting low. So I had to take her in for to be seen. They ended up bouncing her back, but it was kind of scary. She's been hospitalized before for her asthma. Yeah, that does not work. So we're just going to see. You can't tell where the lines are. It didn't work. So I'm going to go ahead and just do them normal style instead. It just looks like more texture, which is fine, but I can't see the lines. So that was a failure. It's all good. We're just going to shade. I'm not going to totally cover those areas. I'm just going to shade over them. Kind of give it a shadowy stripe instead of a solid stripe. And we'll see how that looks. Not everything turns out the way I want it to, but I try. Sometimes your airbrush might get a little bit angry with the the light spray too, and it can tend to clog up a little bit. So doing detail work, you'll find yourself needing to clean your tip a lot and just make sure you're not. Yeah, so it's coming out now. Fine. So they get clogged a little bit after a while. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. I'm not sure that I love this, to be real honest with you. I think that looks kind of not really how I wanted it to look, but we're just going to keep going. This time, I'm just going to go across the top on this side, and I'm going to do it dark on the top and very minimal on the bottom, and we'll see how that turns out. So it might be a little different on the bottom and the top. Which is fine. Okay, so there's our lines. I still don't like this either. I don't like how that turned out at all. I think the lines are too fat and they don't look right. But we're gonna keep going anyway because I learned my lesson on that one. It'll still be fine. It's just not gonna look how I want it to look. So, yay. Okay, next. I'm going to clean this out. These textured baits can be really difficult to do detail on. If you painted them, you know what I'm talking about. They make me angry. So I don't do them very often. I'm just cleaning out the black here, and it looks good to you. I'm my own biggest critic, though. I think they look, I don't know, not great. Not how I wanted them to look. Let's just say that, but it's all good. Okay, this is sepia. This is a piece of pantyhose that I have on this cap. You can see sticking out. It's to strain the paint because there was some, it was a tad chunky. So that helps to straighten out any bigger chunky particles that might be in there. And so that's why there's pantyhose in there. It doesn't work that great, but it was worth a shot. You need something a little bit finer than that, I think, if you really want to get them out. I don't know why, but Createx paints tend to get kind of chunky really fast. And sometimes when you first get them, sometimes they're already chunky. And so it's kind of frustrating. Okay, let me see if I got any more questions. Oh, I'm kind of broke too, Anthony. I understand. Yeah, I'm just doing blades and some jigging, some lipless jigging baits. I'm not doing any other kind of ice lures. But I'm telling you right now, the blades that I make, and here's one that I'm working on. I don't know. Let me pull up one. This is like one of the, I'm not even close to done with this yet, but these blades, Chris pours these and then I paint them. They slay the fish in cold water. I'm telling you. They're really good. We have open water here. It's not even close to frozen. So if you're in a lake where it's not closed off, or even for ice fishing, they work excellent. And I put mustard KVDs on them so the hooks are good. I don't use little tiny hooks. I put size 6. They hold up nice. Okay, I'm just darkening the spine here now with some sepia. If you're just joining us, thanks for watching, guys. Check out if you can. I don't have a ton of stuff in stock right now because I finished my Christmas sale a few weeks ago, but there is stuff in there still. And you can use the discount code in the pinned comment. If you're on YouTube watching, the discount code you can use through Sunday is LIVE15, LIVE 15, one word, all caps. That'll get you 15% off anything in stock. And then orders 50 and I'll ship free. And I'll ship everything by Monday if you order this weekend. You might get it in time for Christmas. And then also I have gift cards on my site if you're still looking for something for somebody. They come via email, so you'll get them right away. Okay, so this gives it a little bit more of a earthy green color. And then we're going to use some black as well on the top to kind of shade that a little bit more too. But you can kind of see how you've got that light bluegill belly still. And we'll leave it that way for the most part. So let me clean this brown out for now. We're going to have to do the fin in brown, but I'm hesitant to do that yet. Well, I'm thinking. Let me try, I'm going to try an antiquing on the fin also, and we'll see how that goes. I'll probably screw everything up. But I'm going to go over the fin. I made a stencil already before this show. See, I was somewhat prepared. And I just cut this one out with the scissors, and then I cut this for the ear flap. This one I cut too big, and this was already there for something else. So this is my ear flap. This is my fin. This is too big, and this is for something else. I don't remember what it is, but I just used the same piece of material I had. So I'm just going to put this up against the fin, and I'm going to make the whole fin brown, and then I'm going to wipe so that it sticks in the cracks. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a sec once I get this painted. This color is pretty thin, so I'm going to have to go slow and let it dry in between. Otherwise, it'll run, and I don't want it to run onto the belly, okay? I thinned this way down because I was shading, so it's pretty thin. I don't want it to kind of like just spread out all over the place. Okay, so I just made it brown like that, and then I'm going to flip it because their fins are brownish. And we'll try the antique, and then I might define the edges of it a little bit with some shading as well once I get the antiquing done, but we'll see. There's a little bit of black in the cracks also still, and that might, that might help. Okay, so I got that one brown too. So all I'm going to do now is just take I don't want to use a Q-tip really because I'm afraid I'm going to just wipe it all off. So I want it to keep it kind of flat. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of isopropyl alcohol and I'm going to put it on a piece of paper towel. And then I'm just going to put my finger here. And I'm going to try and keep it as flat and small as I can. And then I'm just going to wipe. And I'm going to see if that even works. It doesn't look great right now, so we'll see. It does not look good. I wiped it all off. It didn't work. So let's try water, and let's see what happens with that. Try water instead and see if that takes less off maybe, and just wipe in one direction. So I'm just trying water on the other side, and I'm seeing if that works. So the water isn't really taking anything off. So I don't know now. Maybe it's just not going to work. We're just going to try. Okay, so I did alcohol again, and I'm just going to try and be gentle. So that worked a lot better. Do you see the antiquing? Let me see if I can get you close. See how kind of, you see the smears in the fin a little bit there? It's harder to see on YouTube. You can kind of see the smears. So let me try this. Let me try this other one again, and I'll just try not to touch it as hard this time, and maybe it'll work. And then I'm going to kind of outline the whole fin with brown as well to just give that shape a little bit more definition. You could probably also, like, if you have a really fine tip brush, you could put like tiny little strokes along it too. There's other ways to do it. I'm not that great at it. There are techniques to get that like hair-like look though. I'm just not. I can't. Sorry, Dad. They're not happy right now. Christmas vacation takes on a whole new meaning when you have a 6 and a 7-year-old because they just basically try to kill each other the whole time that you're on vacation. Okay, let's go around the outside perimeter of this. It's so fun. Everybody should have kids. That looks okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do around this skin, I know this is taking way too long because I was trying something I haven't tried, is go around the top edge and make it dark there, make it dark in the center, and then just give it a little bit of a shade around the edges. This seemingly takes forever when I'm on my live shows, but once I get this stuff down, it goes a lot faster. Once I figure out like what to do and what works and what doesn't work, it doesn't take me quite this long to do one lure. This swim bait normally wouldn't take like an hour and a half, but when I'm like experimenting and trying to figure out the design, it takes time. And then of course it depends if you screw up too. So that looks pretty good. So there's the one sided fin. That looks pretty realistic. And then I'll do the other side here real quick. So just that kind of like a rustic, realistic look. Almost sometimes messy almost looks more realistic than super clean. So I got a little too much paint there. That's why I was doing. Sometimes if you get too much paint and you dab it right away with your finger, you can get it to kind of stick to your fingers. This paint is super thin, so it's you got to be really careful how much you put down at once. Otherwise, you'll end up with a mess. Okay, so that looks pretty realistic. I think that one almost looks better than the first one. So there's your realistic fin on that. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to do a little bit of a purplish hue. And then I'm going to do some black shading. And we have a little tiny bit of yellowish orange on the belly. But before I do the yellowish orange, I'm going to do some white back blending to get the belly like nice and white. So you don't have any of those black smears on there, you know, from when I was doing the antiquing. So you just got to clean that up a little bit. Make it look nice and neat on the belly. And then we have an ear flap to do too. So let's go ahead and do this purplish color. Looks like everybody's quietly watching tonight. Thanks you guys for sharing if you are able to do so. I'm going to pull up my picture one more time just for my reference. Okay, so I have a little bit of, I don't want to use that color. Hang on a second. I got to grab one thing that I kind of didn't think I was going to use, but now I do. Okay, so this is violet interference. It's like a violet shimmer that only shows up in the light. And they can be really good for fish because fish scales have that effect where they only show up like the purple and the, you know, you've held a bluegill in your hand. You know what they look like when you turn them in the light. All of a sudden they're purple. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I don't know what bluegill you have or don't have where you live. Okay, so this is the 4004 transparent base I was telling you about. And I'm just going to dip a little, this is just a disposable paintbrush. I just dipped it in this pigment. This is Pearl X. That's Pearl, the word. space EX is the brand. And it is called Powdered Pigments. And the color is Interference Violet. You can get it at any art supply store for the most part. Or on Amazon has it too. Okay, and I'm going to spray this basically just like along this area, the middle, okay? Just a little bit at a time and let it dry in between until you know how much you have. You want it to show up, but you don't want it to be overpowering. So just kind of dry in between coats and let it build. Thank you guys on YouTube. I appreciate it. And if you get a chance, follow me on Instagram too. That's where I post all of my newly released colors to the store. Or when I have new stuff in the store, I'll post on Instagram. Then it kind of copies over to my Facebook. But it's just Colorado Custom Lures on Instagram. And then, of course, if you're following me on Facebook, you can also find me on YouTube. I do my shows in both places. You didn't see me over Christmas on YouTube because I was doing my live sale, and I could not possibly do a live sale on 2 different platforms at the same time. It just would not have worked. So I wasn't there. And then I went on vacation with my kiddos, took them to Florida. We went to Anna Marie Island. My parents live near there, and we had a great time. It's a beautiful beach if you ever get the chance to visit. We went to Busch Gardens, and that was so fun. If you haven't been there, I could have spent 2 days at Busch Gardens. It was so much fun. But I think I wore my parents out because it was a lot. A lot of stuff for one day. This does not have any blue on the like gill plate. I think I'm going to put just a pale blue there because I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, sad if it doesn't have anything. But first I'm going to do the belly. Well, first I got to do the belly white, and then I'm going to do the yellow under there, and then I'll finish with that little area of blue. That's the only thing I'm going to change from this picture because I think it's kind of boring if you have no blue. And I hope you don't disagree with me because I'm going to do it anyway. So my apologies. All right. This will catch up eventually. I can't see your comments. Okay, so I'm just going to go, I'm going to point downward on the side because I don't want to paint over all this stuff. It'll overspray onto there if you do. So I would start by kind of just like painting downward. I'm using a pre-reduced Wicked Detail Opaque White. So I just reduced it with 4013 reducer, and I store it that way. This technique is back blending, and you can use it to kind of like create a break in colors and sort of blend them together, per se. Does that make sense? And I'll do it on the other side too. Despite me not liking the lines on this, I'm digging the way it's coming out. Maybe just a little tweak to how the lines look, and I would really like it. Maybe a smidge lighter on top. I would go a little bit lighter. Not quite as light as the photo was. So again, I'm just cleaning up the belly with some white paint here. Getting a little separation between the belly and the rest of the scale to give it a more smooth kind of look and clean, I guess. Now I gotta adjust this because this is kind of bumped up against the the lure. Can get under it. Okay, now that looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna switch this white out. I don't want to go too high because the fin is there, and if you hit the fin with this white, it'll be all screwed up. So I'm gonna clean this out, and I'm gonna put a little bit of this sunset yellow. It's a transparent color by Createx. It's like a yellowish orange. It's mostly yellow, but if you put it on heavier, it starts to kind of look orange. So I'm gonna put some of that in here, and I'm gonna make sure it's thin enough to make sure I don't have any comments I'm missing. Beth, yes. Beth, if you place the order today or tomorrow, I will ship it Monday, and you should get it within 1 or 2 days. So I'll make sure that I spend Monday getting everything out the door for you guys, so you can still get an order in time for Christmas. And then I have gift cards available to order on my site too, if you don't see anything you want. But there's still some good stuff on my website, so you should definitely be able to find a gift if you want. I didn't sell everything in the live sale. Probably sold like the good majority of it, but I didn't sell everything. So thank you guys all for the orders too. It was a great sale. I had a lot of fun, and I felt a little more organized than past years. It's getting kind of better every year. So now I'm going to just go along this area, basically right through here. I'm going to do a little textured yellow with scales, and then I'll just kind of put it on the chinny chin chin too. So I'll just put this scale down there so it gives it a little bit of a scale look like it does in real life. And it's okay if I get it on the gill plate a little bit because I'm going to put some blue there. Oh, no biggie. And I'm not going to do very much because I don't want it to be super bright. So there's just a little bit of this sunset yellow. You could probably go with a more orangey color, but this particular picture had more of a like a yellowish color. You can barely even see it here, but if you saw it in real life, you'd be able to see a lot better. It's not really all that light. Sometimes the lighting and the camera makes it a little hard to see certain colors. I might consider using like more of an orange color next time. So in the bottle, this color looks like this. Okay, it's like almost orange. But when you put it on the bait, it looks yellow. See what I'm saying? So you really have to build it to get it to look orange. It's like a golden kind of yellow color. I'm just bringing it all together underneath there. Okay, so this has got that little yellow chinny now. Okay, I'm going to put it back in here. And then I'm going to get a little bit of a blue color set up. I'm going to mix together a white and when I do bluegill, the gill plate, I usually use like a Wicked Laguna blue, or transparent blue rather would be better. I use Createx transparent blue, fluorescent green, and white. So give me 1 second while I dig those out because I kind of didn't do that. I got it. Okay, easy peasy. So this is just fluorescent green and then transparent blue, bright blue. So I'll put a couple drops of white in here, and then I'll put like 1 drop of blue, and then 1 drop of green. And then if it's too dark, then I'll just put more white in. There's no particular color that I think is perfect for gill plates that I've found already mixed. nor do I need an entire bottle of it, whatever it is. So I'm just going to mix together my own color. So this is a really aqua-like color. I'm still stirring to see what it looks like. So it's a really, this is good. It's a very turquoisey kind of color, and that should work, I think. So this is the color. Wait, that's the color right here. That's the color that it is. So it's like a blue-green aqua color. So I'm going to take a stencil that I made that is super generic, and it has just a curve, and I'm going to use that. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, guys. And please share the feed if you can. I'd love to see as many people watching as possible. So I'm just going to take this and line it up right here with the gill plate. And then I'm just going to do a very thin line. Thanks for the stars, Arthur. I'm going to do a very thin line right around the gill plate area. I think they might be playing Nintendo inside is what they're screaming about. At first I thought they were killing each other, but I think they might be playing Mario Kart. Mario Kart is some serious, it's serious stuff. Nobody can beat Chris. He always wins video games. It's not fair. So I just did a really thin line going up the lip, the top lip, okay? And then I'm going to do the other side, and then we're going to take out our little dotting tool, and I'm going to make a little bit of an uneven line there to give it a more natural look. There's savages in there. All right. So again, I'm just painting. I don't want to put this stencil on top of that without it being dry. I'm just going to hit this with the dryer real quick. And then I'm going to do this just up onto the lip here, the top lip. I'm just painting along the edge of the stencil. So you just kind of let the overspray hit the stencil, and then it just makes an edge right there. So you can see exactly where it's going. Okay, now I'm going to take a dotting tool. And I'm going to do some details here. I'm just darkening that up a tiny bit. So these dotting tools I have here are really super cheap. You can get them on Amazon for like less than $10. If I can find them. Did my kids take them? Oh, we can always use the end of a paintbrush if I can't find them. Here they are. They were under there. They're just buried. So I have a bunch of cheapy paintbrushes in here too, but these are just dotting tools that you can get on Amazon. They're for nails. So you look up nail dotting tool and you will find these exact things. They come in sets of like 6 or something. So just dip it in the paint, and then we'll take it and we'll put it, that might be too much paint. And we'll just dot some dots around the edges of the, you're following me, right? You guys know what I'm doing. And you can do big ones and little ones. You can mix them up. These come with different sized balls on the end of the, like this one, for example, has a much bigger end on it. And there's one that I have that has a huge, this one's really big. So it's got a really big end on it. So you can make bigger dots. handy for trout patterns as well. And then you can just do a bunch until you feel like it looks good. As many or as few as you want, just depending on how you want the texture to look. I'm doing a whole bunch, and I'm going to try and keep them pretty close to this line and letting them kind of all mix together. So I started with that line that I painted as kind of a guide, I suppose, and then I'm just going to go over it basically with all these rando dots. So you end up with something that looks like that. If you can see those, it's a little uneven. And now I'm going to do the other side real quick here. So this is separating a little bit in here, so you might like make sure you stir it every once in a while. Certain colors don't like to mix together and stay together very well. You have to sometimes remix while you're working to get them to stay separate or stay mixed, not separate. It's not a big deal if they're a little swirly in here on this design or anything like that, but nothing in nature is perfect, right? You gotta tell yourself that when you're painting. Just because it doesn't look exactly perfect doesn't mean it's not still good. I do a lot of designs that are very clean and meticulous and straight. And then I do stuff like this that's quite the opposite. So just have fun with it and, you know, make it your own. So I'm drying this the best I can right now because this is pretty thick. When you get these dots on here, you kind of get like a little bit of pooling with the paint. So you just have to make sure that you don't throw the airbrush pressure on it while it's still wet, or it'll make the paint kind of smear all over the place and it might ruin it. So just give it a quick dry and then move on. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry, but just set enough so that it doesn't, you know, make a mess. Let's just say that. So black. I'm going to put black in here again, and we're going to finish the shading as soon as I get this cleaned out. I hope everybody is doing something fun for Christmas, even if it means just sitting and watching movies and eating food. Sometimes it's nice to just chill, right? My kids are going to be so excited. So we had this horrid windstorm here the other day, and we got like some parts of our town got like 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It was kind of scary actually, and we lost our swing set. It just crumbled to the ground. 2 of our grills got knocked over, and pieces were flying everywhere, and yeah, it was crazy. And you know, trampolines. Everybody's trampolines in town were all over the place. We don't have a trampoline, and that's why I kept asking Christopher when he's like, no. And after the events that went on the other day, yeah, it's no good. Probably a good idea that we didn't have a trampoline because it would have been God knows where. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of shading. Oh, you know what I did forget to do? I don't think I'm gonna do it today. Is a little son of a beeswax. I'll add it later. Maybe not. See, I'm gonna be upset. This is kind of This is kind of dirty though. Maybe it'll work. I'll try it. If it doesn't work, then I'll just forget it. Some texture around the eyeballs in white. I kind of forgot. That's more of a bluish white now anyway. If this won't spray, I'm just going to move on. It's working. Okay, I'm going to take one of my texture stencils, and I'm just going to do a little bit of dot shading around the eye. These are just texture stencils, dots. Modeled by Anarchy Models is what this stencil is called. It's not really showing up very good. There we go. Kind of faint. I'm not sure if this is worth my time, to be honest. So I'm just putting a little bit of white texture around the face area, and it might even be kind of hard to see without being up close. You might not be able to even see it. If I make the dots a little bigger, you'll probably be able to see it a lot better, but maybe not even. So there you go. You might be able to see it. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a little bit of white texture around the face because they kind of have this like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it besides white texture. So I'm just gonna do my ear flap first, and then I'll do some shading along the spine, and we'll be done. So with our ear flap, I'm just gonna line this up right here with the ear flap, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of a fade. So I'll color it pretty dark right around the outside edge. Okay, that looks pretty good. So there's your ear flap. Okay, and then it just kind of fades into the gill plate. And I'll do the other side now. That one goes a little further in, so I think I'm going to match it. If you can see that how that goes in a little bit further, I think I'm going to match this with the other side real quick. They're just both not quite exactly the same. So just one of those things. They look a little too dissimilar for me. Okay, that's better. Now they look kind of the same. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the spine area here. And if we get a little bit overspray downward, it's okay. A little too much paint in that spot. The fins are on the top are pretty dark on this one, so I'm just going to kind of mist them with a little bit of, this is like a transparent black because I thinned it out. And then up here on the top of the nose area is fairly dark too, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to shade the inside of the eye socket and just let it kind of overspray a little bit onto the, the area around the eye to just kind of darken it. One thing that does is it really makes your 3D eye pop a little bit when you have that in. It'll just kind of, I don't know, highlight it a little bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So I was thinking about doing some blue interference along the tail line, but I don't think I'm going to do it. All right, let's add an eyeball and we'll be done. I kind of like it. It looks good. I'll have to come back through and probably make that a little bit. I'll have to clean that out a little bit better in a minute here. So let me pull my gloves off. So the purple that I don't know if you can see the interference purple on this on video. It's really hard to see unless you get it in the right light. I don't even know if the YouTube video it'll show up, but it's it's like a shimmer and it goes down the side and it's pretty hard to see on video, but it's there. You're just gonna have to take my word for it, everybody. So this is kind of like a brownish, goldish eye, and is one of the closest that I can find that mimics a bluegill eye. So that's what I use for the most part for bluegills. Most I don't have the size. Unfortunately, it only comes in like a size 4, 6, and 8. So you have to find similar ones in other colors. So anyway, there you have it. Did that fall off? You did. It did. I glue them on usually. This is my light bluegill. It looks pretty good, I think. And for those of you on Facebook, there it is, all finished. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas holiday. I will not obviously be here on Christmas Day. So I hope you all stay safe and you eat lots of food and have a safe, wonderful time. New Year's Day, I believe, is the following Saturday. I should be here for that. Okay, so no Christmas Day, but probably New Year's Day I will be here. So I'll create an event on Facebook if I do decide to come on. And I think that's all I got for you guys tonight. So I appreciate you guys watching and sharing, and have a great holiday. Bye.